Hello, yes. I apologize so much to the people that probably want to join our conversation. They want to read the comments and being read. Uh, but because of this kind of, very uncomfortable, I don't know if it's real people, I don't know if it's bots, but it's just very, like, disgusting. It ruins the whole mood of these readings, the whole mood of this that we do. We are, a very selected, a small group of people and the audience, and sometimes, because I I actually have, that because ever since I turned 40, I cannot read small prints. Like, I cannot read tiny letters. So if someone is saying, even though I do have, the tablet here, I could, like, some things I can read, but my eyes start to get worried. I have to get glasses. I'm going to get them. I swear I'm going to make an appointment on September, because it's I don't know if September, October, because it's full when they are very busy when it comes to this kind of analysis, I would say. I do have to fix a lot of things about myself. After turning 40, I think that I became a different person. I don't know myself. I don't recognize myself in the body that I have. Some things that didn't, I never had issues. I didn't hurt anywhere. Now I'm starting to have like a small, like some things are bothering me, and the eyes, the sight is one of them. So even though, like, yeah, sometimes I read, sometimes I don't read, but I think that it's very distasteful. It's like so lame. I don't want that. We are chatting here, we are sharing our experiences, we are just, I don't know, maybe being funny among ourselves, trying to talk about things that matter to us, and for people to be this, like, disrespectful, like, no. And also random strangers, like, no, 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 no. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also I think that it's like a lot of pressure for the people that have to delete the comments. Like, no, no. I don't know why people are like that on YouTube comments, like live streams. Have you noticed, Akira, that, yes, I believe last night, yesterday was it, or the year before this? Um, did you see that Stephanie Su, she also got her 2-hour video about what happened with this woman, with Kendra, and her psychiatrist. Mm. Ah. So, but the pressure about numbers you see might be from people new in the fandom. People who just joined care so much about streaming. But us who have been here for years couldn't care less. They used to this. Yeah, so we're happy they're having their freedom now. Yes. Yes. I couldn't watch those videos. That woman drains me. Yes. It's draining. And I think that is so interesting that when Stephanie starts to narrate even when she starts like, dissecting the episode one or part one, I don't know how it was arranged. I think that it was part one. She was like, she also was like we cannot empathize with this woman. There's nothing about what she says that you are like, yeah, it's like, you go, if you want to be the Lulu, we get you, like, it's okay, no, but the way she says, the way what she's telling is so, it's like you're trying to do like mental gymnastics to make it make sense, I guess. Like, you're trying to be like, okay, so you're saying that he did, like, it's like the more she talks, the more you're like, I don't understand you. Like, can you stop? I think that she wanted to be Riize so much that, she wanted her moment. And everyone is talking about her, so, maybe she wanted to go viral. Oh, yes, Bacano. It's just that I had to delete it and start all over. First, because I created one and I didn't put it on public, so I was just all alone. And then when I restarted it and it didn't have like, the settings for the comments, being just for the subscribers, and and it was just free for anyone to join and put their comments, and just being awful and nasty and racist, because they're always like this. I think that this is the key. It's their opportunity to be racist somehow, or disgusting. I don't know. So unfortunately, I had to end this because I cannot put all the weight on Akira to be eliminating comments. I think that it ruins our conversation. It ruins our dynamic. It ruins the rhythm that we all have with each other. Those kinds of people. So yeah, I know that there's people that probably are waiting for to reach the 4 months and up, so they can join the conversation. Probably new people, and yeah, I want to let them know that it's not a personal that I have it set up like this. It's because of these people that appear. I don't know if they're people or bots, but it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. We are not used to having someone in the comments just being awful or just say whatever. We at least I don't like it. I'm like, no, this is not the community for that. No. The other day, my mom was watching Andy's video about Cristiano Ronaldo interview. I'm so done with it. But I'm so done with him, but I liked that she was so into the achievement. She ended up watching Andy's video. Yeah, I still have to watch this. I'm going to watch it tonight, after I finish this. I'm going to watch it. Yes. Because I follow a famous Argentinian YouTuber that his name is Martin Sirio. He is like also a comedian, like, and he's just so funny. He's a Gemini, so very witty, very intelligent. He used to be very famous on the radio, actually, in the early 2010s. He used to be in the radio, in these popular radios, when people used to listen to radios. And he had this, like this alter ego of his, that he was like, also he was acting like he is a gay man, but he has usually these roles where he acts like a woman, and he's hilarious. And he does streamings, like, to sort of tell you what is going on in like, sort of like, is a resume of whatever is going on in Argentina's or other parts of the world. Gossip, I guess, celebrity gossip, what the celebrities do, what people, influencers do, you know, if someone, you know, gets, you know, is trending. So, he's super funny. And he was commenting, he was reacting to the interview. And that man is, for me, so I'm so embarrassed for him. I'm so embarrassed being a Capricorn, you know, related to this man that also is a Capricorn. I think that is just so, it's so interesting how he lies to himself. You know, how he has this, I think that he wants to cover for himself that much. He wants to cover himself, and he just ends up, you know, like digging his own grave. It's like too much. It's like don't try to defend yourself. I think that, you know, that part of his, I'm like, you're so messy for that. There's no way what you and the other person did, like. And let's not even mention, you know, when he met her, she was literally a child, but, you know, yeah. And I don't think that he can convince the audience of like, oh, I think that he's a good guy. No, his morals are on the ground. On the ground. Oh no! Oh my God! No! No! Poor woman. She's confused. I mean, we could have her because we are a mix of everything. So, you know, she could fit in very well. And we do have some scandalous people over here. So, you know, I don't claim that. This is why I don't even watch, like, I don't even know what's going on in my own country when it comes to celebrities. Because I don't know, I don't vibe with, I have a lot of pride for my country. I think that we are not perfect, but we are a good community. Or we have a very rich culture. We have a lot of history. People here are very intelligent. I think that I wouldn't have been able to learn other languages or just been doing what I'm doing, you know, connecting with people of other cultures and countries, if I wouldn't be born here. I think that we have the ability to expand our minds and just being, you know, very curious about other situations in other parts of the world. We are very welcoming. So, but there's something about the Argentinian celebrity that I find it so tacky, so awful in the way they dress, the way they promote themselves, the way they behave on camera, even the TikTok trends, the music, it's all very lame. It's all very lame. It's all very lame. Like, it's not my style, you know. This is why maybe I just gravitate more towards, I don't know, K-pop or a bit of pop, you know, because I'm a millennial and I cannot help it. But there's something about you know, how the girls in their 20s, how they dress to go to a club, for example, that it feels very showgirl style. I don't know, and they wear a lot of black. Every time they go out, they wear black, and it looks like they're all dressed the same. But also the makeup. I mean, I used to, well, we didn't used to like wear that much of makeup, because actually I think that we had one shade of makeup, foundation, base for makeup when I was young. But we were big in eyeshadows. We used to, I remember I had like a palette, like a whole, palette of eyeshadows with different crazy colors, and I would love to wear them. Also, lipstick as well. Um, but every time I see, the girls like, getting ready to go to a club or to a party or to an event, they are so young and they look like they're 30. They put so much age on themselves for the way they do their makeup, the way they do their hair, the outfits. It's very cabaret. It's very cabaret. It's very like, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about, but it's very showgirls. It's very there's a lot of glitter. I don't know why, but they do a lot of glitter strass in their clothing. I don't know. Yes. Yes, I love Argentina. They remember the Brazilian. They have this charisma and easygoing vibe. Yes, I do. Yeah, this is why I love Brazilian people. I think that I had the best with foreigners. I always had the best experience working with Brazilians, because they are so full of life. They talk to you and they already come to you with a smile. The women are beautiful also, their skin flawless. They wear this like very, this type of clothing that the fabric is beautiful, the flowy dresses, and they are so sexy. It's not about showing. It's more like, a mix and match of different colors, and they're just warm, very warm people. It doesn't. It's not about age, how much you weigh, or the color of your skin. It's like, if you want it, wear it. If you want to use it, wear it. Like, don't limit yourself. The level of confidence that these people have, like, I just see them smile at me and I melt inside, because they have that, that vibe. Their music is beautiful, everyone dances, everyone, like, I think that I love it for them, because I know that probably, just like a lot of Latin American countries, we never have it easy. So music and dancing is a way of sort of, taking the sorrow away, or, for a few hours forgetting about, tragedies. And they do it amazingly. Here is the same. The people here just uses what is famous, and it's kind of old-fashioned America, early 2000s reality show style makeup in such a young age. I think that I see so many culture. I think me that see so many culture can stand. Yes, they're themselves. They just want to be free and have fun. I love this energy. Yes, we should incorporate this energy more. They are very humble also, very humble people. Very humble. But yeah, this is what I notice about, fashion, not fashion, maybe what the kids are wearing today. And I never thought that I would be that person. We never think that we are going to get to that age where we are starting to be like the old people, being like, oh, back in my day we used to do this. But I think that there was like more, I don't know, we didn't have much, I remember, but me and my friends, or girls of my age, when we wanted to go out, it wasn't about like wearing a specific brand. Actually, we would like, borrow each other's clothes. We would be like, oh, can you give me this? Can I wear this top? Or can I do this? And then we would style it, very, just, very in a very amateur kind of way, but for us it was so cool. And I don't know, we just had fun with very little, and now I see that some girls here, they wear a lot of makeup. They wear a lot of makeup on their faces, and it's like, you're 20, you're not supposed to wear that amount of base on your face, foundation and base and oh no, it's like you're no no. Here remains styles. Oh, the clinger also is so uninspiring. The clinger look is so like sad. It's giving me like these people that go to these very rigid religious schools, remember? That they would like ask you to not let your head loose. It had to be, very, very tight. Every idol group that goes to Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, they just have so much fun and being able to do more free besides sing all the songs. Yeah, the charisma energy on another level. Yes, definitely. If I use one thing differently here, or you poor and ugly, or you just an American girl, right? We used to be happy with so little. We used to be happy with so little. There was no haul of makeup and accessories and different bags. No, we just had, yeah, what was available, and if we didn't have it, we would borrow it from other people. I must say, I've always been the kind of person that I would love to not wear the same thing for an event. I would love to, change. But that's, I guess that I got it from my mom, because whenever I had a birthday, or I had to go to a party when I was a child, it was a moment for us to go shopping. Like every time I would have to go somewhere to, a friend's birthday party or a celebration, she would take me to buy, new shoes or a new something. It wasn't like the whole outfit because we weren't rich, but she would always buy me something new, a bit something to wear for the first time. So for me, I guess I always been very picky, even though if I didn't have the money when I was young, but I would be very picky about like not wanting to repeat the same style or the outfit. So I would have a lot of my friends would come over and be like, oh, can I check out, if you have something that I can borrow, because I will have different things. Maybe they were like the cheapest because I wouldn't buy brands, but I would have variety. So they would ask me like, can I borrow this from you? And I would be okay with it. But yeah, that was the reality. But I think that there was something about clothing back then that it lasted longer. Maybe the quality was different. Now I think that it doesn't matter how much you pay, the quality is very low. I hate that the internet thinks Mexican teens are like the Edgars. Edgars? Like the Edgars with the specific ridiculous hairstyle that is in the US. Americans who say they are Mexicans. I don't see things like that here ever. I think these days we saw context and have so much information that we're just not satisfied with the simple things in life that we used before. Yeah, I think that's something that I I find it annoying because it had happened for a very long time that there's, especially because Hollywood, and maybe they are very used to, they're very close to Mexico, so there's something about them having that stereotype of, like, they also think that all Latam is Mexico. They also think that we are all Mexico, like that we all have tacos, that we all drink the same things, that we all have the same, and no, it's not like that. But I think that their perception of Mexico and Mexican people, it's so stereotyped that is a bit like insulting even, because it's like Mexican equals like tacos and tacos. and I think that, and that Mexico is dangerous. Everywhere in the world is dangerous. It's not just Mexico. We have danger everywhere. But I think that their perception of how we live is, they think that because we're from Latam, we are all sad and very poor. But actually, no. It's not that we're millionaires, but we do okay. And but Mexico has like different, just like we here in Argentina, we have different races. In my case, I love, one thing that I do love so much about Mexico is definitely the things that they do with sage, that is very indigenous, like the having a copalera. I do have the copalera here, but it's not like the one that they use in Mexico. I do love that spiritual side, because for me, I think that the plants, like saging with herbs, for me, help me to prepare my personal space, for my readings, and for when I'm with you guys, and when I'm also at my house. And some people enter my house, and then when they leave, they get this very weird energy. So I always sage. And I do love how they do it in Mexico. I do love it. There's something just very ancestral. It's bigger. It's about the Mother Earth. It's bigger. My mom also, she was from Paraguay. She wasn't from Argentina, but she also learned from her grandmother. She also learned to also make these herbal teas. Every time your stomach hurts, or you had some issues or a cold, she would prepare a blend of a tea with herbs. So I think that we all go back to that indigenous part, and I love it. I just love it. I love it. I would want to go to Mexico at some point because I need a new copalera. I need a bigger copalera. So schools even have haircut codes. Yes. A lot of Mexican stereotypes are actually American things. We are so diverse, yet we don't look and act anything like this. No. We are all very different, and we are like, I think that also, I grew up like also watching telenovelas, and yes, there's a certain archetype, in telenovelas. There's an exaggeration, but there were a lot of famous Mexican. My mom used to love a lot of Mexican actors and actresses, and she would tell me about them. We would watch documentaries about their lives. I would have Televisa at my house. We would watch it with my mom. So somehow we knew that they're just like us. We have a lot of similarity. We have private schools and we have public schools, and actually the public schools are really good. There's a lot of order. You know, and also Mexico is huge. It's a huge country. I think that you know, it's like us. We have provinces, so you cannot, you know, put just one stereotype for everyone in there. You cannot. But actually, we are very abundant people. Very abundant people. I think that one thing that we can say is that we don't starve here where we live. Yes, the Hollywood stereotypes is so bad that if you know nothing about the country, there's the only character that you think as reference in your head. Yes, those videos of Mexican Americans trying to look here, they are so stupid and discriminatory, and yet they're mad we don't consider them Mexican. Yeah, we can tell they're American when they stand in the middle of the street as if local people don't have lives. And wait for them and for the ugly style where we have identity and taste. Yes. Yeah. And also, you know, I remember, you know, my mom also, she used to, like, you know, sew all my clothes. You know, she would have like a sewing machine and she would sew my clothes, you know, and or create something for me. So we had little, but we definitely do have it, and there was this very warm community. My mom made a lot of, like, you know, different dishes from, you know, Paraguay. And you know, now that I don't have her, I kind of miss it, because and this is the thing about, you know, I guess being bilingual, is that because she used to speak Guarani with her sisters and brothers, and with her father sometimes, you know, and I would be in the middle of the conversation, I would be in the kitchen with them, and I wouldn't know exactly how, I wouldn't be able to repeat what they would say, but I would listen to them and I would kind of understand what they're talking about because of the tone that they said things. It's the same as when we are watching K-dramas, and there's certain keywords that repeat that you're like, oh, they are saying this or they're talking about this. So I always thank because my mom always was a bit, because here in Argentina there's discrimination. My mom wasn't like a woman of color, but she was discriminated because she came from a very early age. She came from another country, and another Latin American country that it wasn't as fancy as, you know, another famous country. So there's a bit of racism in that sense, you know, about, like, you know, the neighbors, the countries that are neighbors to ours, you know, there's a bit of racism in Argentina about that, or certain comments, you know, certain dismissive comments. So I remember my mom wouldn't speak Spanish that well, and she would always be embarrassed, you know, to speak in Spanish because she had that strong accent. Um, and for me, I think that this is why I always wanted to learn different languages and connect with different cultures, because I think that um, if you pay attention, you can connect, even if you don't know exactly how. Hola. But it's all about being empathic, also trying to connect with the person, and that there's nothing wrong with if your pronunciation is not the best. What you're doing is trying to build a connection, a bridge. with the other person. You're trying to connect. You're trying to reach out. You're trying to make yourself understood. So as long as that is in there, whoever wants to pay attention and just understand you, they will. I think that the right people will understand you. Argentina is bigger than Mexico, but Mexico has 3 times more population. So I think about how overcrowded it is. But thank you. My mom is Chilanga, so she gets told she talks like Albertano. I love that. Like that show with that character Albertano. It was so funny. I remember I used to watch that one as well, and I do have it on my smart box. And the other day I was replaying the episodes. It was hilarious. It's so hilarious. Like I do know people from different ethnicities. This is why I adapt, to whatever I have to. I remember when I started learning English, when I insisted that I wanted to take English classes, no one liked to learn English. I remember my when I was very young, like my classmates, they were all like so stressed for having to learn English. They felt the pressure. They felt so like, oh my God, I have to go to this English academy because my dad paid for this, so I have to go and I don't like it. But for me, I was so excited to learn. Even though it was the same teaching every year. I swear we would start the year with learning the verb to be and the present simple and the present continuous, and it was all the same classes over and over and over. But I don't know, I think that I was just grateful to have it because it was expensive. Not everyone could afford it. So yeah. And see me now. Now I'm reading tarot with this English. So something I made out of this. My friend from Peru was shocked that La Rosa de Guadalupe accent is real. Yes. Okay, guys, I'm going to start with the readings because here the weather is not so, it's too windy. I'm getting scared that it's like moving everything. Okay. It's so bad. It's so bad, the wind. Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to tell you guys what I have my list. For today I have Riize Sungchan, Enhypen Jay, I-dle Shuhua, SHINee Key, Xiao Zhan, the Chinese actor, Oneus, Woong, BTS B, and twice Tzuyu. So yeah, let's begin. Let's see, today's reading is going to be about the secrets of their heart. What is their dreams, their secret dream of loving, or how they will want to experience a relationship, a serious and deep relationship. What are they dreaming of in that aspect, in that intimate aspect. This is why it's like secrets of the heart. Maybe this is something that they are realizing now, that they're like, I would want to experience this in relationships. Or this is, okay, let's begin with Sungchan. Riize Sungchan. let's begin. Okay. Okay, for Sungchan, we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups, and we have the Six of Swords. And then from the Oracle of the Earth Wisdom, we have the card of communication. Yeah, it's very interesting for Sungchan. I think that definitely, he's like, I think that the secret of his heart, or what he truly longs in relationship, I think that he's like, I really want to be someone that is like working on being better in relationships. I think that he wants to be more mature emotionally. I think that he's definitely a very sensitive man, and probably if he's in a relationship, or when he likes someone, or when he's feeling something towards someone, he gets very sensitive, he gets very much in his feelings. It's just that, maybe he lacks a bit of trust and maturity in owning up to these feelings. Maybe he has been feeling like in the past, he compares, like, okay, how did you act it when, I don't know, when you had your first love or your first crush on someone? How did you act? What did you do? Did you communicate? Did you go to talk to the person? Did you open up to that person? And he's like, yeah, no. I ran away, probably, or I acted cold and detached, and I just wanted to look cool, and just not not face my own my own sentiments. With the Six of Swords, I think that he's like, I want to be someone that advances in relationships. I think that he probably has the tendency to run away or escape a bit if he doesn't fully acknowledges his sensitivity or his needs, his emotional needs. So he's like, I have to work on this. I'm on my way. I don't consider myself an expert on my emotions or on my sensitivity. I still have, to be much more mature about how I feel. But he definitely does feel a lot. And he is a very romantic person. He's a very romantic lover. He's probably very idealistic. He wants to be taken care of. He wants to be able to be vulnerable and romantic and sweet with his partner without feeling like he has to hide or just act, cool, or act like, oh, like, yeah, I have experience in relationships because, I'm so popular. There's something about him. I don't know if it's because, he's an idol, or he's a very popular member, or he had always been a popular young man, maybe because of his appearance, and he sort of gives off this maybe this appearance of people thinking that he's great at relationships, or that he's a winner, and that he gets, all the dates, or that he's really good at talking to women, or that he's really good at conquering the one that he loves, or that he's so lucky in love. And actually he's like, no, it's not like that. I tend to run away. I get scared easily. I get overwhelmed, emotionally, if someone gets too close to me, or if they start to notice how sensitive I am. I freeze, and I just, I try to act like, I'm not like that. Like, I'm actually the opposite of sensitive. So there's something about him, like, I want to own this maturity, emotional maturity. I want to be this King of Cups. And also he wants to advance in connections. Maybe in the past he did interrupted certain connections with people that he truly care about, but he's like, I couldn't do it, so maybe I ghost them, or maybe I didn't talk to them again, and I sort of escaped, and I didn't tell them why. So somehow he's like, I want to live all those awkward experiences in the past, and I want to be someone that once I find my person, I want to be able to trust my person and just move forward with the relationship. He's very romantic person. And also we have the card of communication. So see, I think that also he's a person that probably, you know, he's the thing that he also has to work more towards is to have a better, not just a better understanding of his emotional needs and how he's processing these emotions, is also to be able to communicate it. If you feel something or if you feel a certain way about someone, you know, let them know. Communicate. Don't stay quiet. Don't make things awkward for the other person. The other person don't have to be like a psychic to guess what you want or what you need out of them. Like, you have to communicate more. And I think that this is not just relationships, this is for maybe potential, you know, emotional connections with people that he cares about. It's like, Sungchan, communicate more. Don't let, you know, enough of the small talk. Talk about how you really feel. Let them know. Let them know that you have a deep world, that you have needs, that you have things that you want for yourself. Speak up. Speak up from your heart. You know, there's no need to get all like, you know, like exposing too much, but just communicate. Work on your communication. Don't let the silence be awkward between you and the people that you love. So yeah. Yes. Exactly. Communication instead of wanting to get your mind read is something this generation doesn't understand. Yeah. He seems to be like very sensitive, you know, like evasive. He tends to be like evasive, and it's like you have to guess, like, because it's odd, you know, for the other person to be like, oh, I think that he likes me. He runs away from me, but I think that it's because he likes me. No, it sounds a bit contradictory. So yeah, he has to learn to speak up. Oh my god. I'm so scared of the wind. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's like rocking this sort of net that I have here. Isamara, this reading says a lot about the person besides the relationships. Yes. Okay, I'm going to continue with Enhypen. Oh my god. Enhypen Jay. Enhypen Jay is a bit much more straightforward. When it comes to the secrets of his heart, or secrets of the heart, you know, his dream of loving and what he would expect in a loving connection. We start with the Queen of Wands, and we have the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Ace of Wands. So very, very passionate. And we have blessed side. So I think that Jay is very straightforward about, you know, and I think that there's something about, you know, when it comes to secrets of his heart, I don't think that he has secrets of his heart. I think that he is like, you know, a strong woman, possibly fire signs, or someone that has a strong element of fire in their chart. They are his weakness. I think that he really dreams, or he has a type of woman, probably an older woman. He wants to be bossed around, you know, and somehow this is getting a bit kinky, but it's because we have the Ace of Wands. So I think that for him it's not so much like, oh, love and romance. I think that he wants to be, he's like, you know, I want like a mature partner, someone that is more experienced than me, someone that shines very bright, someone that is very, very confident, someone that probably a person that takes the lead, someone that could be a bit bossy and a bit much, you know, in energy. But I think that he loves this kind of person. He loves this kind of woman. You know, I see a woman here. He has a type. There's something about, I don't know if he has been in love with this person for a very long time, but while I'm holding this card, it feels like he's holding a poster of this person. It's like he has the person's picture, or he's like he has this person's image all in his unconscious, and he's like, that is my ideal person. There is like, there's no secret in here. I want a woman with a strong character. And I want our relationship to be passionate. I want a relationship to be spontaneous, and you know, with the Six of Pentacles, I think that there's something about him being like, you know, because he is like this, or at least I think that he wants to become this. He wants to be the type of man that gets a woman like this. I don't know if there's like some kind of pride that he's like, you know, I would feel very good with myself if I would be able to attract someone like this. I would give her everything and more. You know, with the Six of Pentacles, it's like, you know, commitment, a contract, like something, like use me, like, you know, it feels very like a bit like please take me. But he's like, you know, I love a confident woman. I love a confident woman. And I think that he gets excited for the idea of just having a partner that is very dominating. And probably someone that also draws a lot of attention to themselves, that is very, it could be another star as well, another celebrity, someone that knows their value, that they basically don't need a man because they are very, you know, secure. So he's like, you know, this is what my heart desires. With the Ace of Wands, he wants the relationship to be passionate. He wants the connection to be sensual, to be, you know, he wants to be under the spell of this person. He wants to be bossed around. I think that he likes the idea. He's like, you know, I'm invested. Like whatever she asked me, I'm going to do it. So there's something about him being like, yeah, this is my secret. This is what I really am longing for. This is what I want. And I think that I can attract someone like this. I don't know if he sees it like something to be proud of, you know, so somehow maybe attract an older woman, or to be able to seduce an older woman or someone more experienced than him. And he's like, you know, I can do this. I'm actually like, I have the personality, you know, I'm not shy, so I can do it. I can do it. But yeah, with blessed side, you know, there's this feeling of, you know, with blessed side, there's this feeling of them, you know, being able to see the potential of the connection, even if others don't see it themselves. You know, I think that this is blessed side. I think that also it talks about authenticity in the connection. He's a very simple man. And probably he's someone that once he sees someone, he's like, that's the person for me. Probably he gets fixated on a certain type, but he knows what he wants. He knows what he wants. And he's like, you know, I know that maybe not today, but at some point I'm going to end up with that person, or I'm going to end up with someone similar because I like them. This is how I like them. And with blessed side, there's something about them recognizing each other, you know, being like, yeah, we can be very different, or maybe there's like an age difference, but he's like, but we make it work. We make it work because we see each other. We see each other for what we are. We see the passion in our eyes, you know, the determination. The arguments, I would say, even are hilarious. But he just wants this exciting romance. He wants it. He's like manifesting it, I would say. I wonder if he has his eye on someone. Yes. Yeah, I guess, but he shows it very straightforwardly. It's not about him. He's like, I'm ready. It's all about the woman. It's all about when she appears, because I am ready. I am ready for her. Okay. Let's continue with I-dle Shuhua. Is Shuhua a Capricorn? Because I got the card of responsibility, and I'm like, this sounds so much like Saturn, like Saturn behavior, responsibility, like it feels like a weight on your shoulders. Okay, for Shuhua, we have the Hangman, we have the Eight of Cups, we have the Two of Swords, and this card, responsibility. Oh, she is? Ah, okay. Yeah, I think that maybe Shuhua had, I don't know if she dated before, but it seems like she has experience with matters of the heart, or maybe there's something about her having a certain, or acting a certain way, or having certain like dynamics with potential lovers. And I say potential because I do see her like somehow holding back and being like, maybe she was heartbroken, maybe she was disappointed by someone in the past, maybe someone left her, or they just decided to end the connection. So I see her very like, on a pause here with the Hangman, the Eight of Cups. It's finally letting go. And somehow, not, I don't know why I want to say, like, she probably tends to rush things in connections. I don't know if she idealizes the person very much, or maybe she attracts people that they do pursue her initially, people that they do want to meet her, they get in her life, they try to see her often, and they seem very enthusiastic about seeing her, meeting her, and then they disappear, or they lose interest, or they go away, or they ghost. They are just it's really tough to understand what these people do. So I think that for her it's like, is it me? Is it my character? Am I doing something wrong? I think that these are moments of reflection for her about, in this aspect that we are talking about, the secrets of the heart, her dream of loving. I think that she also probably is tired of having to put a lot of energy on connections. Like maybe initially she has to initiate, or she seems to have to be like the responsible one in the connection. This is why we have the card of responsibility, because there seems to be like, in order for this relationship to function for a while, you have to put a lot of yourself, or you have to sacrifice somehow, or you have to change, or you have to adapt to what the other person wants. So at the end, it leaves her with a void of like, it doesn't matter what I do or how much effort I put, they go away anyways, or they leave anyways, or the relationship just, falls apart anyways. So I think that she's in this very uncomfortable period of self-reflection about like, okay, I guess I should stop and change my strategy. because I think that I've done a lot to save certain connections or to protect certain people or to give them my love, to give them my presence, to be there for them, you know, to be maybe a good partner, to be a good girlfriend, and at the end they left anyways. So you know, there's also a part of her of like, you know, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. You know, if I put everything on myself, what am I doing wrong? You know, why for some people this works and for me it doesn't. So it seems like, you know, there's something about her having to stop and maybe, you know, not date or not seeing someone in a specific in this time in her life, and just, you know, trying to maybe give up relationships a bit, you know, give up the romanticism or the romantic vibe, because she feels very guilty. You know, there's something about her feeling inadequate. Maybe the person makes her feel like she's not good enough, or like, okay, yeah, you were like this, or I got bored of you, so I left. And she's like, but I didn't see it back then. You didn't let me know that I was doing something wrong. I was just being myself. So there's like a lot of confusion, like well, like this is what I am, and I think that I'm very open to you. I've always been sincere in relationships. I always showed myself the way that I am. So probably, you know, the key to this sort of recovery that she has to do is to stop insisting. Like, don't do anything. Just accept that it's over. Accept that, okay, maybe the person wasn't for you. Maybe the person was, you were too much for that person. So yeah, just embrace it and move on. Move on. Don't get stuck emotionally in there, because it's not her fault. It's not her fault. It's just that maybe for her, maybe she was left with a lot of questions, you know, with a lot of pendants of like, okay, we never actually had like a proper closure. So I don't know, you just disappeared and you didn't tell me. Like, I think that there's something about her being like, I want to know what I did wrong. And actually there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's just that, you know, maybe the person was very dual, or the person, the way they communicated was very, not very genuine, not very honest. So they were somehow playing with her, and she just didn't see it. She maybe could have ended this herself first, but she was so immersed in trying to make it work that she didn't see the red flags. Because I think that she does have a strong belief of her, you know, I think that maybe she wants to be a good partner, she wants to be a good wife in the future, you know, for her, you know, with the kind of responsibility, for her, she feels it like a duty, that she has to be a good partner, that she has to have like a proper, well-established connection. But maybe, you know, these people that she has been meeting, they weren't up to it. They were just cowards. This is why they left her here hanging with no answer. Because, you know, when someone is immature, there's no answers. So yeah, she just has to navigate this, you know, and just probably for a while she's going to be confused about, you know, what her heart wants, or how she's really feeling, because she's like, no, you know, I got hurt, I'm confused, am I seeing things correctly, or am I being blinded? Maybe she's being blinded, yeah, but she has to choose better, yeah. Those people that disappear weren't worth it of her, so it's well that they disappeared. It's like, it's good that they're going. Okay, I'm going to continue with SHINee Key. Secrets of the Heart, His Dream of Loving. SHINee Key. Okay, we start with the Nine of Cups. We have the Five of Cups. And we have the Justice. And then we have the card of go with the flow. Yes, literally key. It's very interesting because I think that Key is someone that for the years he has been somehow connecting a bit much more with his own, emotionality and probably, what he wants in a connection. And he's like, I'm deserving of love. I want a good love. I want the best of loves. Like, I really want to experience an intense, like, sort of like a novel, kind of like very vibrant love story, something that he can feel it in his skin, that he's like, wow, I'm living this, he has high standards for love. I think that he's like, I really think that after everything that I went through, I deserve a good love. I think that I shouldn't, settle for less than that. But then we have the Five of Cups. So I think that even though, there's a part of Key that he's claiming, he's like, I really deserve to have like my dream come true. I want the perfect partner. I want the perfect match for me. I'm sort of praying to the heavens that they send me, the perfect partner for me, because the perfect partner would get me. But with the Five of Cups, I think that he tends to sabotage relationships. I think that it's not about Key not having opportunities to find the right love for him. I think that he probably he chickens out a bit, or he gets a bit like, oh man, like, that, there you go, that's your, there's your love story in there. And he's like, oh no, but I don't know if I'm ready. I think that I'm busy, my schedule is crazy. So I don't think that I can meet that person right now because I have a lot of things to do. And I'm like, he is someone that he craves love and intimacy. But there's a part of him that still is afraid of intimacy. He's afraid of letting someone in, of letting someone get that closer to him, to who he really is, behind the fame and everything, someone that can really get into, his sensitivity and who he truly is as a person, as a man of his age, as someone with his sensitivity. He's a very sensitive person. It's just that, I think that, he's also, there's a part of him that he's sensitive, but also he's super confident. With the Nine of Cups, I think that he has been building an image, he has been earning confidence, he had been accumulating a lot of great experiences with a great community by his side, with new friends, with good music, good food, good connections. So everything is great. And somehow maybe he's like, if I get into a relationship, what if it doesn't work? And what if it spoils the love, that the life that I'm living now, that is perfect like this? So there's a part of him that he probably is like, I would want to experience love. I'm a romantic, but I don't know if I'm ready to get that deep, that in love. But it's weird because I think that there's also a part of him where he's also grieving still. Not just past experiences, emotionally experiences, but probably the same experiences that he somehow rejected or that he sabotaged in the past. There's something about him looking back at theirs, and being like, yeah, maybe that person would have been great for me, but back then I didn't do anything, and now it's awkward, and the opportunity is gone, and like, no, it's just, a way of you telling yourself, excuses that is because you're not ready. Because opportunity for love, there's always. If you turn around and you look around, love is available. A connection is available. It's just that there's something in him that there could be a wound, there could be something from the past that somehow, damage a bit, his ability to trust. Maybe this is why he doesn't want to get that close. He doesn't want to get that emotional. He doesn't want to get that in love. Because he's like, what if I lose myself? And what if I lose my people? What if I lose my friends? What if I let everyone down? It's like he's someone that he's also so happy to make others happy that he's like someone that is for the people. I don't know. It feels like Key is a great friend, mentor, buddy, team member. He's there for everyone. But maybe when it comes to a one-on-one intimacy with a partner, he's like, but what if I get attached to my partner and I fall in love, and then I stop being there for others? What if this person sort of takes me away from the others? So I think that he still doesn't know how to do that, how to find that balance. This is why we have the justice. And maybe he's like, yeah, that's my problem. I cannot seem to find the balance. That's what I'm longing for. To meet someone that makes me feel like it's safe for me to love, and at the same time that I can still, love others. And this is not being faithful. This is more about he loves to be there for people. He loves to help others. He's like, he's like the key of the people. He's very popular. And he's like, I know that maybe if you get into a relationship, what if things get complicated, and what if this person demands of my time, and they just want to see me, and they want to be with me, and they want to be in my house with my things, and how do I do this? How do I balance things? So it has to be a very fair individual, a very fair person, someone that allows him to have his time with his people, and then also his romantic time with his special someone, because he is a romantic. He really is. And go with the flow. See, like the advice basically is like, why don't you try? Figure it out as you go into the relationship. Just experiencing it. Experience it while you are at it. Don't like overthink or try to anticipate something that you haven't even been in a relationship. Like, first you have to get in the relationship to see if it's going to be like you fear. Maybe it's not. Maybe that person gets you. Maybe that's what that person is going to love you for. They're going to love that you are the people's favorite. And maybe this person is like, I'm also a very friendly person, and I also have like a community, and I also need my alone time. So yeah, you can go with your friends, I will go with my friends, and then at some point we will meet. Balance. But yeah, he has to allow himself to go with the flow first, instead of just thinking about the worst scenario of the things that I don't want to happen. Let it happen. Go with the flow, and then you will figure it out. I'm so scared of this wind. I'm going to continue with the Chinese actor Xiao Zhan. Xiao Zhan. Xiao Zhan. Xiao Zhan. The secrets of the heart for him, his dream of loving. He's very spiritual as well, very spiritual man. We have the Three of Wands, we have the King of Wands, we have the World card, and we have divine connection. Divine connection. I think that this actor Xiao Zhan, he's someone that he's very active. He's very strong. First of all, there's a lot of determination about him, and I don't think also because I have the King of Wands, and there's something about the Wands energy being like actually there's no secrets. Like I'm very actively looking for this kind of thing that I want to live in connections, or these things that I need in a connection, or that I want to experience in connections. I see him very clear about this, with the Three of Wands and the King of Wands. I think that he's, I don't know if there's something about him wanting to be assertive in a connection. He's like, I want to initiate things, I want to be very brave, I want to be very straightforward, I want to be the one that invites the person, I want to be confident. And there's something about him being, very courageous when it comes to when he really likes someone, or when he starts feeling attracted to someone, or when he's flirting with someone. I think that the emotions or the fire in his veins, somehow he's a very proactive person, and very honest in connections. I think that this guy is like, okay, yeah, I see a future with you, or I don't. He's very action orientated as well. I see him just making plans for his person, to see someone. Also with the World card, there's something about him traveling, probably like him traveling, or maybe I don't know if he's attracted to people of other regions or different countries, but there's something very expansive about him being like, I will follow you wherever you go. Like, if I love you and if I'm sure that it's you, I will follow you. I will do what I have to do. He's a very brave lover. So I think that, his dream of loving is like, once you know that that person is for you, you just move, towards them as if they are a goal, and you make it happen. And I want to be that kind of man. I want to be that kind of, I don't know if he has like savior complex, where he's like, if my partner is having a bad day, or if they're having issues, I'm going to go and help them and assist them and make their lives better and help them and just be a hero. It is very strong, it's very masculine. He definitely loves to take over in the connection, and he loves to make plans for the future. So I think that for him, probably relationships are no joke. Maybe he's very serious about this. I don't see him, being in a connection with someone, but I think that his mentality is that, once I meet the person, I know I have to take action. I know I have to do something. I know I have to unblock the possibilities for us to meet more, for us to meet often, for us to do things together, for us to be in each other's life. So he's very proactive in the sense. He's very brave as well. I don't know if he had like dating news, a scandal or something like this about him, about Xiao Zhan. But he's a very brave lover. And I think that the more he likes you, he's very straightforward about it. He's like, you know, if I like someone, I'm going to go and tell them, or I'm going to, you know, do something about it, because, you know, it's something that it is born out of him. You know, it's something that he cannot help. When he really likes someone, he's very straightforward. He's very straightforward. He's like, I will go and ask you myself, okay, do you want to date me? Do you want to be with me? Like, he doesn't need mediators. He is the one that takes charge in here. And with the World card, I think that there's something also very interesting, because the World card is also about cycles. So I think that there's something about him, you know, there's something about him advancing very fast, you know, with all these ones in here. And the Wheel of Fortune, he's like, he has a very intense energy. But the World card is like, it's also giving me detachment, in the sense that if the person doesn't reciprocate, if they don't feel the same for him, or if they are not ready to be with someone like him, he moves on very fast. He's like, okay, then you are not for me. I will go and find someone that wants to be with me. That's okay. You know, with the World card, it's like you are like, you know, like you are closing chapters. You're like, okay, if this didn't work, I will move on to the next one. Something like this, you know, something very, like, very fresh, also very fresh about his energy, you know, very, very fresh, very fluent also. I think that he's like, well, you know, if they don't feel the same as me, or if they are insecure and they cannot give me a proper answer, you know, that's my sign that I have to go, that, you know, maybe you don't want this with me, and that's okay. But yeah, I will move on. I will move on to the next one, I guess. He doesn't waste time. It's giving me that he doesn't waste time, because it seems like for him it's very serious, and he has this strong energy, but also with the card of divine connection. The card of divine connection, there's something about him believing in that, you know, the person for him, this divine connection, is going to be the one that is going to say yes right away, or is going to be he's going to get signs that this is the person for me, so I have to act. I have to do something about this, because this is too precious. This is something that I don't feel it with everyone. So I have to act on it. I have to go and do something. I have to go and reach out to that person. I have to let them know how I feel. He's a very passionate person. He's a very passionate man. You know, I think that he's not for everyone, because there's something with the King of Wands. You know, maybe there's something about him being so straightforward that maybe people, you know, I know he's famous and everything, but maybe he can be a bit much for someone that is not ready to give him an answer. You know, it's someone like, whoa, like, wait a second, we just met. But he's very manly. It feels like this. Hello, Fluffy. Don't forget, guys, to give a like to the live stream if you can, please. Okay, I'm going to continue with Woong, H1 Woong. Woong. My first time reading this name. Woong. Okay, his secrets of the heart, his dreams of loving. Yeah, very dreamy, also very dreamy person. Okay, we start with the Knight of Wands for this member of Woong. Page of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and we have the card of Divine Love. Um, yeah, I think that he's very romantic. Very, very, very romantic. Very much. Yes. Um, but he can be, I think that I don't know how old he is, but there seems to be like he probably is very young, or he's inexperienced in connections. I think that he's very emotional. He has this fantasy of romantic love, but the Knight of Wands is like this this very, like he tends to rush. Maybe he's someone that he falls in love at first sight, or he tends to romanticize a lot, a connection or an encounter with someone. He's also someone very visual. This is why I'm like, is this guy younger? Like, is he young? Because it seems like his energy feels rushed, like he really is in a rush. Um, but he's a bit inexperienced. I do get that he's a bit inexperienced in love, and he knows this. I think that he's like, I know I may have acted out of, impulsivity. Maybe I was being a bit too much. But actually, at the end, his goal is to open up to the person. And it's like, I have so many feelings, I have so much feelings, I have so much emotion, that I really want to give it my all. I really want to express it. I'm a romantic. But I think that he needs training still. I don't know why I want to say training, but literally, I think that he needs to learn, how to regulate, maybe his actions, or if he talks, not be that impulsive, not be that abrupt, that in a rush, calm down a bit, observe the situation, observe the other person, make sure that the other person feels the same, but also, take time for this bond to develop. There's something that maybe he feels like, it has to be now or never. It feels like, oh, this is my only chance to find love, and it has to be this one. So it can be a bit, like he can come out like feeling a bit like, maybe I did a lot, or maybe I precipitated a bit things. But the Page of Pentacles is, I think that he's like learning on himself. There's something about his also love language, that he's like, I'm reviewing this. I'm reviewing this, and I know that probably, I have to acquire more experience. But I just want to be in love. I think that it's not so much about love. I think that he has a need to express how he feels. He probably is someone that maybe his past experiences, he felt like he had to hold back a lot his emotions, or his affections, or his sensitivity even. So there's something about him like, I just want that person to understand me, and understand how much I feel, or how much, I love them, or how much I have been, I'm so invested in them. I have all this potential. I'm like open, I'm like flowing in emotions, and I'm feeling so sensitive. But I think that there's something about him doing this from a place of selfishness, I would say, because he starts with the I need to have a relationship so I can show the person that, this is how I feel for them. This is how I feel for them. So it's not so much about taking into consideration the other part. Is the other part okay with the way you express? Like, don't like, it seems like he froze all the emotions, into the person, and maybe it's a lot for someone. It's like, wow, like you do have a lot of emotional needs that have been unmet. But he's also very romantic. He's very romantic, very romantic. With divine love, he probably is someone that he maybe had crushes on people when he was in kindergarten, I don't know, being popular, or he is just very romantic. He's like daydreaming. Probably he had daydreamed about his ideal type and how his romantic life would go. Because I see him like he's like, I'm going to materialize this. I think that there's a part of him that he's like, I want this divine love. I have been dreaming of this for a very long time, so I know it exists because in my soul I feel it. It's just that maybe he has to like wait, he has to wait for the right moment, the right person. Maybe also probably like get to know himself better, because I see this is why I'm like asking like if he's very young, because it feels impulsive, it feels like I act before I think, and I act and I don't see the other person. I feel the urge to let them know that this is what I need from them, but not so much of like, okay, give them the time and room for them to say if they really want you to give them all this attention, because he feels like very, very young, yes. Okay, I'm going to continue with BTS. He's still in conflict. He's still dealing with. If you haven't, guys, if you haven't watched the Romance in 2025 readings that I did for BTS members, go and watch. If you are a fan of Taeyeon, go and watch it if you haven't. Because this spread is very much what I've been seeing for him. We start with the lovers. We have the Page of Wands, and we have the Five of Swords. And we have the card of Heal Thyself. Heal thyself. So heal yourself it is. A lot of healing. He has to do a lot of healing, and this I said when I read for him for this year, I think that the secrets of the heart of Taeyeon, and his dream of loving, I think that he's still in this duality. He's someone that he wants love, but at the same time he runs away from love. And, there's something about his actions don't match what he says. And the Page of Wands is this constant battle, argument, very restless, reckless, wild energy, very mature, very amateur, just going with the flow of his passions. I think that he's someone that maybe in his relationship, the secret of his heart, or what he wants to achieve, is that he wants to be brave, or he wants to be the one that initiates the connections. He doesn't want to be held back in connections. He's like, I like you, I want to get to know you, this is how I feel for you. And also, just like the other guy that I read a couple of minutes ago, except he got the Knight of Wands, so he was a bit much more like, he had his fair share of experiences, or failures, I don't know. In the case of B, I see him very, like, I don't want to say like he's just starting to get to know love and relationships, but I think that in this process of, it's not about learning how to be in a relationship, it's about learning about who you are and what your emotional needs are. And you have to know yourself. You have to know your strengths, and you have to know also your weaknesses in connections, because this is what you're bringing to the table. And I think that honestly, everything starts, you know, with the lovers, everything starts like a flirting, like a nice sensation, like I'm seducing you and you're seducing, and we are like being cute. But then, you know, the Page of Wands comes here, you know, demanding an answer, demanding, you know, like, okay, let's go out, yeah, let's do this, yeah, this is wild, this is adventurous, haha, we don't know where this is going, but yeah, let's do this anyway, because, you know, I'm a wild soul. But then we have the Five of Swords. So I think that eventually the conflict appears in connections, the misunderstandings, the accusations, and it gets like verbally, it gets very aggressive. So I think that, I don't know if it's that he doesn't communicate well or that he gets annoyed at certain things. I think that he, honestly, when we think about this spread that is a Secrets of the Heart, you know, their dream of loving, I think that he has a conflict with emotionally, he never been taken seriously. You know, there's something about his, first of all, I don't feel emotionality, but there's something about Bis or Taeyon's expression or truth, or expression of his truth, his feelings, his perception, what he sees, what he hears, or his responses. He never was given the place, the room, the safe space, the respect of being taken seriously, of being listened to, of being heard, of being, you know, acknowledged. So I think that he has a huge, like, there's a bit of anger issues when it comes to, like, you don't get me, you don't understand me. I said this, but now I'm angry because you don't understand me. And I'm trying to communicate that I'm angry because you don't understand me, because you're not paying attention, and I get more angry. And maybe I say another extra things. And at the end, it looks like I'm the bad guy. Because maybe I said too much, or maybe I was harsh, or maybe I just said what came out of my mouth and I didn't process that very well, or you misunderstood me. So I think that sometimes in relationships, he feels like a child, a lost one, a lost child. But I think that there's something about Taeyeon being like, you know, I've always felt like this small lost guy, lost boy in connections with others. They never take me seriously. They never want to listen to what I have to say. So I have to shout, or I have to come out very rough, or I have to say something controversial in order for them to, you know, stop. And instead of lecturing me and wanting me to change my ways, I need them to listen to me. Because everyone seems to think that they know better than me. But I know. So he has a lot of, you know, maybe wounds from his childhood, wounds from his, you know, very early years of being in this very cutthroat industry, you know, where with the lovers it's like, you know, we meet this cute guy, this beautiful man. We know that B is loved by a lot of people, so he knows how to seduce the audience, he knows how to seduce others, you know, he's someone that you look at him and you're like, you know, you are a dream. But, you know, the more he starts to get emotional or connected to someone, or the more he starts to feel like, okay, I like you, I want to be in a relationship with you, the more the you know, the wounded child comes out. And it starts demanding things. Maybe he demands attention, or he demands of things that you are like, this is ridiculous, like, I'm not your mother. Why are you angry at me? but he's demanding the attention that he never had. He's demanding to be listened to. The wounded child needs to express himself. And he's like, if I'm in a relationship, I think that I can have this space where my partner will listen to me. And maybe not. maybe, maybe at the end you will be left with no partner. Because the Five of Swords end up alone. All of people end up leaving at the end, after they hear what you said. So, it's not the way. But yeah, like the oracle says, heal yourself. Heal your ways. Heal your history. Before you bring someone into the mix. Because he's always going to end up loving alone. Like he's going to be left with his desire to love alone, because like no one wants to participate in this kind of interactions. They are like, I don't know what is wrong with you, but you have to stop. So I'm not talking to you. You go and discuss to the wall. Yes, it was Fluffy. Yes. Yes, sounds a bit like a teenager. Seems like he has wounds that don't come from relationships, so he would take care of them before relationships outside. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to continue with the last one. That is for twice Tzuyu. And then I'm going to go because I'm so afraid that this fence is going to fall on my head. It doesn't, but there's a very strong wind and it's making a lot of noises and it's shaking, so I'm terrified. And yesterday here, because it rained all day, like a very, heavy rain, so it was floated inside of here. I was like, how am I going to do the live stream? Everything is wet. But yeah. Thank God it stopped raining for a while. Okay. For twice Tzuyu, the secrets of the heart, her dream of loving. Let's see, her dream of loving. For Tzuyu. Is it possible that she wants to be like a bachelor forever? Like I don't want to say like alone forever, but there's something about her. The card that she got is freedom, so not a conventional marriage, or I don't know. I think that we start with the Six of Cups for Tzuyu, Knight of Cups, and we have the Death card. So it's like romantic love out of the window. I don't want it, and we have the card of freedom. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's something just, this is very like child, like, and it can sound a bit weird, but there's something about, about Tsuyu's energy being like, I know what it's like to receive like love letters and marriage proposals and, people wanting to love me, people wanting to be in a relationship with me, people wanting to date me, even though I'm a child, literally. The Six of Cups and the Knight of Cups is like, I've always had like, people, like wanting to be with me. Always like love letters, like I don't know, like even like marriage propositions, like everything very cheesy, probably from older guys as well, because I see the Six of Cups and I'm like, this happened from a very young age. So she's like, I'm sort of allergic to the lover boy. Like if your intentions is to impress her with, you know, being loving and just being, you know, romantic, or just wanting to get her to marry you, I think that she's not going towards that way. With the Death card, she wants a transformation when it comes to how love is appearing in her life. You know, she's like, with the card of Secrets of the Heart, there's a bit of, you know, of her being like, why do I have all these suitors? Why are these people pursuing me? Why are they following me? Why are they being nice? You know, they're all nice, but at the end, they just want one thing. They want to own me. They act like the perfect gentleman, the perfect person, the nice guy, the cute guy, the romantic guy. So she's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. It's like, I actually am tired of that. And she's probably a bit distrustful about that. It's like, you know, when a guy acts like this, or when the person is like too like this, don't take their invitations. I don't think she ever will. She ever did. Like, she never like reciprocated to these advances. But I think that she paid attention how this Knight of Cups is sort of like character, an archetype of a kind of person that would always look like the perfect guy, the Prince Charming, you know, someone that would know how to say the good thing, the beautiful things, you know, they would be very eloquent, they would be very nice, they would bring you nice gift, you know. And she was like, even me as a child, I was like, this is not a good person. This is weird what you're doing. You are trying to lure me with gifts, with presents. And she's like, I don't want it. I don't want you to buy me things. Can you hear me, guys? Sorry, I got disconnected. I don't know if it happened in the right timing, but thank you. But yeah, she's like, for me, the secret of her heart, I think that is like, if you want to impress me, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't approach me as if I'm innocent. Don't approach me as if I'm naive, as if I was a child. She wants to be treated, or she wants to be like considered through this transformation. It's like, I'm no longer the child. I'm a woman. You know, I have changed. I have transformed. You know, I'm not the same person. So, you know, I don't want, you know, a savior. You don't have to save me. I'm okay. I'm okay on my own. There's nothing missing in me. So probably it could be someone that, you know, could somehow embrace this transformation of hers. You know, this, that, yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm not like you think that I am. I'm actually like much more capable and intelligent than you think. And, you know, probably people still talk about her in her youngest years, maybe, or when she just debuted. Maybe people mention this, like, oh, you know, when you just debuted, you were my favorite. Or I have been following since you were, you know, you started. and she be like, yeah, when I was a minor. so I think that she's very sharp, and I think that there's something about her being like, yeah, when it comes to love and romance, and honestly, the secret of the heart for her is that I don't want you to love me as if I was like fragile, or as if I was like a doll that is about to break. I'm very strong, and I'm not a child. So please treat me with that respect. Just see me for who I am. Don't do those cheesy movements that you do for others. She probably has a type. She has a type that is like the one that I wouldn't go for, and definitely is like the lover boy. It's the one that is too cheesy. It's the one that is too obvious. It's the one that acts as if he is in a K drama, or C drama, or J drama. like the one that acts like, oh yeah, because I was waiting for you all my life, and she's like, don't do that. don't do it. Don't do it. Please, don't insult my intelligence, please. So yeah, probably she's like, yeah. From my experiences in relationships, or just being, all the time, being a lot of people's ideal type. I had some weird encounters. So this is why maybe she's like, the harder they try to impress me, and also their lines are so cheesy, are so like not original at all. So she's like that's why they don't deserve me, because they don't change. I had changed. I am a woman, a different person. I had matured, and they haven't. They still have the same pickup line, or the same lame phrase that they tell everyone, until one decides to give them a chance, and it's like, oh yeah, I done great, I impressed her. And for her it's like, no, you have to try harder with me. It's not going to be simple, never. And with the kind of freedom, literally with the kind of freedom, she just wants to be free. She wants to be free in a connection. So her potential partner has to be someone that understands that there's freedom into his heart, into his soul. She doesn't want to be like, someone's wife. She wants more for herself. She just wants also a space to be herself. To be like, not just consider like, oh, you're the partner, or you're the wife, or you're the girlfriend of this person. Because probably she's also been introduced, or she has been receiving like love offers from people that are very wealthy, or that people that are very important. So there's something about her being like, yeah, I could share my life with some of them, but they have to know that I'm not that easy to please, and that I will need my me times, and I will need, I will not stop working. I need my freedom. I need to be free. I don't want to sell myself to someone, for me to have this cold security. She's different. And also when I first saw the page of cups, and the knight of cups, and the death card, for me, what came into my mind first, it was breaking the generational trauma, I would say. There's something about maybe the women in her family being people that they were very devoted to the men, or they just lost themselves for a man. They stopped doing anything that they were doing because they got married, or because they had to be married. Otherwise, they would be worthless. So I think that for her it's like, I need to cut this. I need to put an end to this like generational curse, I would say, because I don't want to be just someone's wife, like maybe other people in her family has done, and they are sort of like, well, this is what we had to do back then. you know, this is what our family has been doing, you know, like, and also love being transactional, you know, it's not so much about like, oh, I'm happy with this person. It's more like, okay, what can you buy for me, or how much can you pay my family, something like this. And she's like, no, my love is not for sale. It's not for sale. So she's here to change also some generational, you know, maybe patterns of relationships and connections between men and women in her family. So she's like, I will not do it like you guys did it. Mm. Hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, she's super intelligent. Mm-hmm. Very intelligent. A very intelligent woman. I do like her energy, but she's like, you know, I'm here to break the patterns. Like, it's not going to be the same with me. I'm here to end them. My God, this wind is. Yes. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. We had, I had done this live stream 3 times. I think I tried 3 times, and finally the first one was the one. But yeah, I had to adjust because the one that I initially created for today, I forgot, like, I don't know. It's like it comes with the option. Usually it's always on public, but I don't know why. You know, there's something that changed also in the platform. So now it's like it appears like private or unlisted. So it wasn't unlisted. So yeah, I started it and I saw that no one was joining, and I was like, well, you know, so I waited 15 minutes. I waited like 15 minutes. I was like, it's weird that no one is appearing, because I don't think that, you know, the people that the numbers that appear are the ones that stay. They usually leave, but there's always someone like entering and then going. But it was stuck at 0. Then I redid it. I redo it. And then we had this issue with we were observing with Akira that, you know, there were some very nasty comments, so I had to end it and, you know, put the restriction on the comments, and then we came back. But yeah, it was like this. It was like this. But yeah, no, because it was a lot for poor Akira. It was a lot. um but yeah, how are you feeling, guys, with the, you know, the Virgo season just, you know, appearing? I think that this Sunday I'm going to start with reading for Virgo idols. It's just that I don't know if I will be able to do a live stream. I will see if I can. because we do have to put like the floor in here. We bought the, you know, the pieces of I don't know how you call it in English, but it's like the ceramics for the floor. But because now it's only like, you know, cement, and so we bought the ceramics for the floor, so my dad has to install them. I don't know when the weather will get better and more like dry, so he can, because it cannot be done if the floor is like wet, and it has been raining all day, and yesterday it was raining a lot. I don't know tomorrow, but I don't know how we will advance with the thing that we have to do for this floor. The room is tiny, but you know, it takes a while, and we have to move the furniture as well. So yeah, if everything goes well and it dries properly, I will do the live stream like I always do them on Sunday. But yeah, I have to do for Virgo idols. I thought we were Tuesday today, and I only realized later you were live. For Mexico, it means one thing: earthquakes. Yeah, there must be something going on with the weather, because the wind is too loud. It's too strong. It's too strong. It's too strong. Usually, when this happens, it's because there's a part of the world, or a part of the globe, or I don't know if it's Chile or what, but there must be strong winds or a storm, because it was very heavy. This Virgo country gets stressed in its own season. Such a Virgo. Yeah, like for me, I also get very like paranoid. Like we have to build a wall. You know, I told you we have like a fence that is made of metallic. So this is why it's so loud when it moves. But for me, it's so unstable. My dad says things are going to fall because it's well adjusted, but it shakes and I'm scared. I'm like, this is going to fly away. But you know, the same it happened to me with the ceiling. Remember when I used to live upstairs, and I was like, guys, I think that, you know, where we have the laundry machines and everything, and you know that you know, we had to change the ceiling and everything. But before we did that, remember that I said that they would move with the wind, and I would be, you know, I couldn't sleep if I would hear the noises. So I'm very like scared of wind, you know, of wind taking away things, or just, you know, creating chaos, because this is why I am so like pro cement and bricks. I'm like, you know, build a wall. Like I don't want this, you know, this sort of fixing that is momentary, you know, that it is like good for, you know, to cover that we don't have the materials, but it's not for this to be always like this. There has to be there has to be a wall, especially because I don't want to see my neighbors. This is why it has like this sort of fabric on top that is like made of plastic, so it sort of covers the, so you cannot see, because I don't like it. I want my privacy. And they sometimes go upstairs, and they sit in there, and they just talk, and I can hear everything, and I just want that wall to be built. We bought the bricks and everything, but yeah, we have to wait for better. And also I cannot wait to open here so my cats can also go into the new patio. It's very tiny, but there's like a small place where I can put a table and chairs, and the cats can go in there. But I have to secure the walls because I don't want one of them to escape through there, because there's a dog next door. So here the weather is getting cooler, which I like. Oh no. Because if you guys get like autumn, it means we are close to spring here. On September 21st is a spring day for us. Oh, my allergies. How was K-pop Mysteries live stream, by the way? It was nice. It was nice. I think that I don't remember much. But yeah, we did rant a lot. We did talk a lot. I don't remember about what, but I did rant a lot because the first one that I did, we started at 1 hour 19 minutes. So I had like 1 hour ranting with the girls. But it was cool. It was cool. Build a wall are worse. We corporate the keep, you know. Oh no, not that wall, not that wall. I know, yeah. When I said it, it sounded very very harsh. But for me, it means privacy in the sense that, you know, the thing with and this is something that bothers me actually because this is why sometimes I'm like I want to move away from here because you know that usually in this place like there's my dad's house like you know in front and then I have my house here and it's just the two of us like you know I don't have children you know I just have the cats but the houses next to me you know they do have like they do have like 3 generations of people living in there and in the other side I believe I have like 4 generations of the same family living in there. You have like the great grandparents, you have like the mothers, you have the fathers, you have the children, you have the grandchildren, then you have the other ones like the grandchildren's having children. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in a tiny place. So of course, when they get together, they are like a lot of people. So when they are talking, there's like it's not just 2 people talking. It's a lot of people, and they also are not that tidy. You know, they are so. I remember when because my dad built the 2 walls the over there because I told him I was like you better build a wall because I don't like that fence because they usually first of all when they weren't living here we didn't have a fence but then you know when they came with their children their grandchildren all the divorced daughters of the man the owner of the house they brought their dogs as well and the dogs would get into my territory they would get on my roof and they would be like they would be a lot of like poop and a lot of you know they would pee on my roof and since we didn't have like a stair to go to the roof we didn't know that they were like you know that their dogs would come and do their necessities in so then I was like you know their dogs are entering into our house so you know you need to put and then I was like you know once I started building upstairs I noticed that they would look at what we were doing so I was like you know you better build a wall so he made this wall here but because this was there was like a whole ceiling was covered in this place but now that it's open I need the extra wall that it comes to the end I would say is because they are very messy they don't clean I don't know maybe they drink they talk in there I don't know but every time there's like I don't know I see like a bag or some kind of dirt or paper flowing into my new patio so I don't like it because it's my place and why do I have to you know get other people's like trash like no. Yes, yeah. In Buenos Aires, we also have the same styles. Yes, people that lived in the capital, they even if you live if you rent, you know, in the capital, usually there's these very old buildings and the walls are made of. I also remember I was living not in the capital but near the capital, but this was also a very old city, and my boyfriend of that time, he also inherited the house of his grandparents, and it was like very like made from the first, the very old house, but the ceiling was so tall, like, it was so tall, like in the walls you wouldn't hear a sound, like the floors also amazing. um but yeah, in here where I live, it's very for, the regular people. It's not very fancy, it's not very fancy. And unfortunately, now that, people don't have that much money, they have families, they have children, and then they have to go live with their parents because they don't have the money to rent, or they don't have enough to rent, so they come and live with their parents. Hmm. I feel you. I want to live in a cabin in the mountains, away from civilization. No people, no noise, no dopu, no pollution, nothing. So disrespect. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm like, I have to, hold myself back. I mean, like, don't be so, so judgmental. It's just that I'm so I'm so protective of my space, and I said this alone a lot of times in my live stream. For me, I take my time. Sometimes I do have, sessions with my counseling clients, and I do need privacy, and I do need, to have the right tools and to feel like, that things are not going to follow my head, or there's going to be an accident, or there's things that are moving and shaking. I'm very, like, I don't know if it's like a sensorial thing, but I need security. I need security and silence. um I cannot. My dad is more, since he he grew up, with a lot of brothers and sisters, and they lived, under a lot of poverty, I guess, and he bought this piece of land when he was 17, with his first job, and he also, then, because he was like the oldest of the brothers, he was the one that, he would, have, when he was single, his sisters with their children, and another, cousin would live here with him, his mother, all his family. He like, supported financially all his family. This is my, ever since, I'm an adult and I'm here, finally we can get some privacy, that it's just him in his house and me here. And I'm like, no, here I don't want any family member. I don't want, like, no, this is not a hotel. This is a house. This is a house of a family. And the family is you and I. This is why, when I'm seeing someone, I don't just bring anyone into my house. If it's something that I'm like, yeah, I don't know, we will see each other every once in a while, let's go out, let's go somewhere else, but I don't just let any man enter my house. And then have them stay here. And because that also happens, that, there's men that they see that you have your house, or that you live alone, and they are like, oh, this is my shot, because actually I'm looking for a place, like they always tell you, oh yeah, it's just that, rent and jobs have been tough, and they want to install themselves here and live free for you, and you have to pay everything. No, I'm like, no, you go, you on your space, and me on my own, until uh, I can see that there's a possibility of us, like, joining forces and building something together. But for respect, this is like, my dad still lives, and this is his accomplishments. He built all of this, and he's still building a lot of this. So I'm very respectful to his creation and to his, sacrifice also. Not being able to enjoy life from a very young age because he had to provide for his family. He had to be like the breadwinner in his family, because his dad, abandoned them, and I believe he cheated on his my dad's, mom, and he disappeared. and he lived in another province, and he left them, and there were like 6 of them. So my dad had to, from a very young age, he had to take jobs, to bring food to the table, and he was just a child. So I this is why I'm very respectful, of, I'm like, we have to live well, and not, sometimes when you want to help people, people take advantage. And a house doesn't sustain on its own. You have to pay the bills, you have to pay the services, you have to also pay the remodelations that are so expensive, and the material and everything. So you have to, just like you respect yourself and what you consume in your body, you also have to respect your space, because it's material as well. My families advertise that if they ever try to live like that, multiple generations under the same roof, I'm kicking them. But I come and go from cities, but still. Yeah, and if you're gonna reproduce, you get a house. Yes, yes, yes. Like, I mean, I don't have children, but the cats, to buy them what they need is so expensive, and they are just cats. And they also need their space. So sometimes I'm like, it's not free to have animals. Sometimes I have to buy their food, and it's like more expensive than anything I would consume for myself. Plus, my parents live in a very old house, not fancy or anything, but it's old, and in summer it keeps the cold so well. Oh, I love that style. Whenever I have money, I'll invest in such a house. Seriously, yes. It's your sacred private space. Close to your dad. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's a moon in Aquarius, so it's really tough for me to teach him, or to maybe try to get him to be aware, of his own personal space, or his own things, even his belongings. He tends to want to overshare. He's someone that if you tell him that you need something, or that you're working and that you need something, he will give you. If he has it, he will give it to you. He will be like, I have it. Or do you need this for your car? Oh, I have it. Wait, I will get you a bit. He shares everything. Everything. With people that I'm like, who are these people? Like, I know that they are from the neighborhood, but I haven't even spoken to these people. Who are these people? Like, and he does this. But it's because, he is like this. He's like a child as well. He's very childlike. And more because he's older now. But sometimes I'm like, you don't have to share everything that you have, because when you need it, no one offers you. Like, do you want something? Do you need anything? Like, I've always, I've always been very independent in that sense. Like, and I'm very proud of my independency as well, because if there's something that makes me feel uncomfortable, is to having to share, honestly. But not share what I have. It's more like, I don't want to have to ask for someone to share their part with me. I'm like, because I've always had what is mine. When I was a child, when I was growing up, it doesn't matter if it wasn't fancy or if it wasn't perfect, but it was mine. It was mine. I was telling the girls earlier, that my mom used to like sew, and she wouldn't make clothing. She knew she had a sewing machine, and she knew a bit about, but she taught herself. Like, she didn't know how to cut properly, the patterns to make clothing. But sometimes when I was young, she would make something for me, and so I would always feel like special, like, this is for you. I bought this for you, and so for me it's like, I have to have something for me, sometimes when people want to lend me things, I'm like, I would prefer to have it myself. And if I don't have it, if I don't have the money, if I don't have the resources, I will wait. I will wait until I get it. But I have to have something that I'm like, this is mine. Like, I don't want to feel like I own someone something. Like, oh, remember I gave you that? Like, I'm like, no, because I've always felt very like lucky in that sense. When you are like, this is for you, and it didn't happen all the time. It didn't happen all the time. Like we never were like rich, even though I'm an only child. We never were like, and but I think that also we never asked for donations. It's like if we didn't have it, we would make it somehow, but we wouldn't be like, asking for someone, like, crying. I don't want to say like being pitiful, but there's something about people, that they have this tendency of like, oh, they don't have this, oh, I'm going to ask this person, and I'm going to ask them for this favor, and I'm going to ask them for this, and I'm like, but do you really need it? Like, or it's just because you want it, or you want to ask. Like, for me, it's like, if it's necessary, I can find the ways to have it myself, or I can save, or I can find a way, or I can have another job, I don't know, an extra job. But I build possibilities for myself instead of relying on others to give it to me for free. But I also, like, I'm so appreciative. This is why everything that I have, I use it. And if I don't have it, like, even if I have it and I don't use it, I give it away. I give it to someone that needs it. I don't waste my space with things that I don't use. I'm like, why is it here if I don't use it? This is why I'm so thankful to having this place, this YouTube channel, to create the readings, to read for you guys, because through the pandemic and being in lockdown, I had, like a lot of people, I had like this huge necessity of compulsively buying tarot decks. And I have a lot of tarot decks. I have a big collection, but I would always be using the same. But thanks, because I started doing the YouTube channel, I started doing the personal readings and reading for others, I started to change of decks and use and give them use what you have. This is something that I think that I'm going to, have a tattoo, or I'm going to create like a logo for people, because the amount of times that I notice that people don't know what they have. It's like you don't even search if you have it. You are accumulating a lot of things. What for? Use it. And if you don't use it, give it to someone that needs it. Like, I don't understand. When I used to work at the pharmacy, like, I would get a lot of samples of skincare products, a lot. And honestly, like, I would use the ones that I had to use because they're like, this you have to use, because it's like you have to use it to try it, because, to promote it, you have to use it. Okay, I would use the 10 creams and everything involved in the process. But the ones that I had that I was like, this is a lot, I'm not going to finish this. I'm giving it to I gave it to my cousins, I gave it to my aunt, I gave it to my godmother, like to every woman that I know, that they were like, oh, I love, like I love that. And they were so happy. And for me, it cost me nothing if it was given for free. Yeah, my mother has moon in Aqua and she's the same. I'm like, Mom, I'm okay, there's no need. Kind of possessive of your things in a way, but not in a way. When you have siblings and not enough space, you even learn tricks to eat in secret. Oh, this I noticed also. Yeah, admit it. I was the kid that put everything in my mouth to not share it. I don't want to owe anyone anything. I feel. Yeah, a lot of people about what siblings, yes, and then they become parents and they do this with their children. They hide their chocolates or what they have. They hide it, yeah, because they're like, I want to eat it myself. I don't want to share. I don't want to share. Yeah. I used to send my sister to a store with my money and tell her if she went, she could buy what she wanted. But one day she rebelled against me and said, "Oh, so you eat it anyway?" I was flabbergasted. That's very wise. Yes, I can't with people wasting food. Yeah, yeah. Yes, like in courses when they pour their water bottle wrong when it wasted. I don't know. For me, I feel like it's okay if you want to decorate things. If you're like, no, I have this because I decorate it and it looks good on a shelf and it has a purpose. But if you have like duplicates, like triplicate of certain things, like you have to review, like what are you going to do with this? The same thing with clothing. If you have clothing that, specifically for me, that I gained weight, like I was a size S or XS when I was on a very demanding job all the time, like running and going places, and then I stopped on pandemic, and then I became this very like sedentary kind of life, and now I have the extra pounds. So I'm no longer an S size, not whatsoever, not an S size, not an M. I would be an L, I would say L or XL, I don't know, depends. But I also have to say goodbye to my old clothing and be like, there's a chance that you will never be S again. So so just give it away to someone that needs it. Someone skinnier, someone small, a teenage girl, someone that would love this. I would do that, yeah. And with the sneakers as well, because I used to work with brands, or sporting brands, and they will give me like sneakers for free. So yeah, I would also like give it to my nieces, or sometimes I would ask them, okay, what brand do you want, and I will get them for them. But sometimes for their gym classes, they would always use it. So for them, and also shoes. I mean, the real good shoes are very expensive. Yes, yes. I told my mom, imagine being a parent and having to share your food and you can't say no. And she looked at me, I was eating her popcorn. I don't have Taurus placements, but there's a lot in the family, especially moons, so I got to fight. It's stained in here. I cannot get this stained. It's coffee. I got a bit of coffee in here when I was washing the mug. I got sprayed like, and I cannot get rid of this. I hate it. Yeah, did I notice? My godmother, and I grew up very close to her, so because I would spend a lot of times with her daughter, so and she is a Pisces with the moon in Taurus, and she was like a teenage mom, she became pregnant with my cousin that is a year younger than me at 17. So she's a good person, but I think that there's something about her. How do you call it in English? Is it hoarding? Is it like accumulating things? She's very materialistic, very materialistic. And she's the first one that collects money, in the sense that she's like, you know, if you have to buy something, or if you have to I remember my godson, at some point he has to buy a certain medicine, and she was like, she gathered all of us together. She was like, okay, we all have to collaborate because there's no money, and she actually did have money saved. It's just that, I don't know, she had another business, I don't know what she had, and she wouldn't touch her money, but she would be the one that would organize other people's monies. You know, so she's very smart in that sense. I always noticed it, and I'm like, oh my god, like, and I don't know, sometimes I'm like, you're so greedy, but I also see it that I think that it's very interesting, because sometimes when she asks me for readings, there's a moment where she first of all, she doesn't believe in tarot or anything, but there was a moment where they wanted to buy a house, and there was the first time that she's like, I needed a reading about that. Well, all the readings that she asked me is all about, you know, transactions. It's all about money. And oh, I should try baking soda. And she comes out as the Queen of Pentacles. She comes out as the Queen of Pentacles. But you know, the thing about her is that, you know, and I do, you know, I do also a Four of Pentacles, but I do try to, you know, give her this review, you know, about, like, yeah, maybe you are administrating your money very well, and maybe you can save, you know, an amount of money and really make your wish come true, or materialize what you want. That is a house of your own, that is a house that you can call your own, and everything. But there's something about her just being very blinded, or very, like, trying to ignore her emotional needs, you know. I think that maybe she's like the kind of, I know that she's the kind of Pisces that suffer a lot, and no one was there for her, or at least to teach her emotional intelligence. I mean, like, you know, you can stand up for yourself, or you can, you know, just end things and just, you know, stop certain abuse. Since she never had a role model, maybe a feminine role model that did this, you know, she's that kind of, you know, just like I notice a lot of Moon in Taurus, or Taurus placement women in general, they are like these women that stayed in these relationships forever. And I think that they don't even like the guy. They are like, well, but you know, it's my husband, and the family matters, and the family. And when they start talking like this, I'm like, you're so full of BS. You're just numb. You're just numb. You numb the pain, and you think that if you have this amount of money, you're going to have control of your life. And no, because you sell your happiness away. You know, there's a moment when I'm like, it's weird that she always asks me these materialistic questions, and she never asked me, like, how do you see me, or what can I do to be better, or what can I do to be happy, or how can I help my family be happy, or for us to get stronger together. She never asked me personal questions. It's all about business and money, which I can see in the cards that she's really good at it. But there's also these control issues. This is why I'm like, how is it when you obsessively collect and just hold on tight to things? Is it hovering? People who grew up in difficult conditions develop that. My mom is kind of an accumulator, but I notice her siblings too, and they grew up in poverty, so they are afraid of losing anything. You know, and this is, and her daughters also, because they do have, you know, Taurus rising, Moon in Taurus, but for me, like, my youngest cousin is the more, because they are Aries, so my youngest cousin is the one that, yeah, she's a Moon in Taurus, but she's also much more like awake, like she loves her mother, of course. She's very loyal, a very loyal person, but she's like a bit more brave when it comes to saying what she really thinks. And we always talk about this, and I'm like, because we grew up together, but there's something about her mother and her mother and the other sister are like the same, because they get together and they talk about buying things. They buy things online. They're always following what influencers are selling, and they buy clothing in different shades, different colors, just to have. And 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 I always talk with my cousin, because I know that she looks up to me a lot and she listens to me a lot, and I'm like, and we used to work at the same field for a very long time, so we kind of know what it's like to work, study, even though she's a mother and I'm not a mother, but we know what it's like to be independent and having to make your own money and your own growth. And we don't have time for frivolous things, and there's something that I always tell her about, like, why do you want to buy all those amount of clothing that is from SHINee, that is on sale? Oh, because SHINee now is available in Argentina, so everyone is like getting this discount account coupons, and they're going crazy buying things on SHINee. I don't like SHINee, but well, and they buy a lot of things just in case, and they have like a whole furniture, like a whole like a place where they pile up things that they buy, new clothing, new shoes, new this, and you don't leave your house. You don't have how can I say, you don't have these events to go to. So why are you buying this for an event, a party, a reunion that you are not going to participate in? You buy it just in case? And when are you going to buy it? When are you going to use it? So for me, from my experience, and I also, talking to my cousin, I also let her know that we done the same. First, when we were working, when we were very productive, and when we were very much on the public image and everything, first you get the invitation. You get that you have places to go, that you have presentations, that you have to meet people, that you have to go to different events, that you have to go to different parties, dinners, whatever. First, you make sure, you have that experience, being like, okay guys, you have this event, this is the dress code, this is what you're going to do in there, so yeah, make sure that you have, because the dress code is like this. Okay, so I know I'm invited, I have to show up, I have to do this. So now that I know that I have the event, I start thinking like, okay, I need a certain color because the dress code is like this. So but first you have to have the where are you going to use that clothes, because if you keep piling up different kinds of clothing for things that you will never attend to, you first have to create the opportunity, the experience, and then you think about like, okay, what am I going to wear? See, it's about being useful. It's about the usage of things. If you're staying 24/7 in your house, why are you buying all those gowns? Like make the opportunity first, and then think about what you're going to wear. And if you have to buy, because maybe you have someone that can lend you. When we had these corporation meetings and everything, sometimes she would call me, she would be like, oh, do you have like, a black blazer that you can lend me, that I can borrow please, because I have to wear this black and I don't have in black. So we would borrow it from each other if we didn't have it, or if we didn't want to buy it because it was like once instance or a one time event. But if you don't have the experience, why are you buying it before? It's like you're accumulating for something that when are you going to wear it? Like, I don't know. Mm. Mm. Yeah, they don't like to waste it at all. They don't buy necessary things, but they struggle to let it go of irrelevant things, like just throwing them because they think they're going to need it anytime. Yes. Not wanting to let go. They don't buy unnecessary things, like they don't buy whatever, but they think even a box is gonna be needed. Yeah, the box collecting, yes. For clothes and even jewelry, I don't buy anything cheap or unethical. I buy less but quality stuff that really or need that will last. Yes, yes, because if you have a lot of fake ones, like it's bad. Well, maybe you just want to have a nice dress for yourself, but just close ones, not necessary to go out. Mm-hmm. I didn't, but they pile it in the in the wardrobe, and they don't look at it anymore. This is the thing. This is what it's at. It's accumulation. It's accumulation. It's not like aspirational. It's not like the people that are like, I'm going. Sometimes I do have this. It's an intuition, and I don't know why. But sometimes I buy things like a pair of shoes, and there's a moment when I don't wear it, but I keep it, and I keep it, and then the opportunity comes for me to use it. So it's this is why I'm very intentional with what I buy, because there's moments where I'm like, you're not going to use it now, but save it, because later you're going to need it. And that's cool. I didn't mean it like they go to the market and buy anything. We don't do that. Even I reduce my purchase as much as I can, unless I really want something and ask myself when I use it. I read about that in France people really value quality when they are gonna buy clothes. I think that's great. Yeah, we should do that more often. I actually wanted to, there's an Argentinian, like, she's a designer, and she talks about, that people used to make their own clothing, and that the quality was better, and everything. And sometimes we don't know much about fabrics. And we tend to buy things that are very low quality, or that they are not, for example, me, that I have eczema in some parts of my body. I do have to wear cotton. If I have like that mix of polyester, it makes me break out. But unfortunately, there's like, if you buy something, that there's a high potential that there's a mixture of a lot of things that are not quality. But she had like an ebook, she was selling a course about how to recognize the different fabrics, the percents, and that's very important. That's a very important education, I think. mm. Mm. Yeah, when you see the prices on Temu, yeah. Yeah, this something that also it happened to me. I remember, guys, I told you that happened to me with tarot decks. I had also the cheap ones, the cheap versions, and the quality was very low. And yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you can buy free for, you buy free and pay one. you know, so it was all very promising and cheap, but you it's fake. It's fake. And it's like, for example, this one that I have, the Prism Tarot, that of course I cannot find it in Argentina. It's not available to buy the original, so I'm sorry to the author. It's amazing. I'm sure this is not the right cover. But and it doesn't come in this box. But also, if you see this is, I'm sure this is not the right size. I don't think that this deck is that size. But yeah, and see, like, the card is very thin. It's not bad, but it's like, it's not the original. So that's why, you know, I stopped looking for tarot decks, because I was like, you know, you're accumulating, like, you have like really good tarot decks, original ones. Why are you buying just because it looks different? It has like another keywords, like the keywords repeat themselves. But yeah, it's just because we are connected and we are always scrolling, so you know, it makes sense that it takes over our space and mind. But yeah, we have to recover, guys. We have to recover. Yes, the ethics, exactly. That's what I was telling my my cousin when she told me that she bought from there, that she made the, and I was like, and you know, it was very sad because she actually bought a lot of baby things for, because she has a very, a 2-year-old, so she bought like baby cute, you know, cute clothing. But I was like, do you know the conditions that those people working or under? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And also, she's in a good condition that she could buy from any place. It's just that, you know, she I don't know, she thinks that she discovered something. You know, I think that there's something about her being like, oh, you know, because in here they get you this discount and they get you this and you can buy this and then this and look at all these things. And I'm like, those things are so bad. Like, why are you buying all these lame things? Like, no. Also, talking about things, I have to buy a new Mac, because remember I had the Empress. I have a Mac with the image of the Empress. The other day it fell. It fell and it broke. It broke into pieces. So I have to buy a new one. I don't know if they do it anymore. But yeah, I broke my Mac. I also accumulated tarot decks a while ago and I only use 4 or 5. Yes, mostly 1. Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have to think about the new Mac. Yeah, I have to think about any style that maybe it just needed a break. It was like, you know, Vanessa, till here. You know, I accompanied you through all these years, almost like, I think I bought it on pandemic or in 2025. No, 2021, I believe. But yeah, it's gone. You know, I don't have a deco that is, you know, with the cats. I have to buy one. Yeah, yeah, I have to buy one. I'm thinking about the one that has like the white cats, because it reminds me of Luna, the white cats. But also the black cats are so cute. And because I have these 2 wild panthers, I'm inspired. But I also think about my Luna, and I want just white cats. Yeah. Yeah, I was telling Akira, I miss her so much. I miss her, like, and it's not almost a year. I think it hasn't been a year yet since she passed away, but she is missed. You know, sometimes I do watch, you know, her pictures, and I think about her, poor thing. I think that maybe, you know, it affected me, because the other day I was going through TikTok and someone, you know, like, they started like storytelling I don't know, I don't follow them, but they had like an account with they show their cats, and the person was like starting to tell, something about like, oh, the cat, starting to have this, and then, it turns out that they have cancer. And I think that watching that, it just broke my heart, and it reminded me of when you get the news, when you get the news that there's nothing you can do, and you just have to be with them. It's just very heartbreaking, and I think that watching that TikTok is just it just messed with my mind, and I was like, oh my god, no, I have to, stop consuming this. This is not fun. This is not. No, actually, I don't follow them. They just appeared, and they started the TikTok just showing the cats, and it's in telling, and unfortunately, yeah, it's part of their experience. Maybe if people know the cats, and they have been following them, you have to let people know, that they are going through this. But yeah, it was so sad. Hmm. On the chariot card, there will be a black cat on the one side and the white one on the other. Yes, yes, exactly, Akira. Yeah. She was your baby and a cutie. My cat is getting old now, and I didn't think I'm ready for whatever the moment will come. Yeah, it's when they reach that. Um, but also, I don't know if it's about age, because I remember with Nerita, when Nerita was like, I believe she was Cali's age. She was about to be 2. No, she was like a year and months. She has been with us for a year and months, and that's when, she almost died because she ate like pieces of thread and pieces of bag, plastic bag, and it got entangled in her intestine, and they had to operate her, but she almost died because no one could see what was wrong. They were like, well, maybe she has a cold. Oh, well, maybe she has, some problem in her throat. No, the guy, the cat, poor cat, she had all her intestines. Oh no, and it took a while for her to recover. Actually, they did the operation, and she wasn't recovering that fast. She was almost like a month, just feeling very, and I was very afraid of her. And there were people that they were like, look, like, the kind of operation, it can go well or it cannot go well. So I was losing hope because she wasn't eating, and she was. I never had a cat that had to be, an operation for that got stuck in her intestines. In my first time. So this is why I pray. This is why I'm all like crazy, because now Kali has this awful tendency of wanting to steal food from the kitchen counter. She is like going crazy. Like today she stole a bread. Um, but yeah, Aquarius children are something else. Yeah, I think that Kali is a Libra. Definitely. I'm sure I'm still trying to for people to give me the birthday, but they don't know. They don't remember. So I'm guessing she's a Libra, baby. I'm guessing she's a Libra. Yeah, because when I got her, when they gave me Kali, she was like almost 50 days, 50 days old, almost 2 months, and it was December the 16th, and she was like almost 2 months. Yeah, and I had And Lily Fuse, she didn't survive an operation. Oh, she was only 7. Your Kali is just like my Kali. Stealing food. Hopefully your Kali lasts as long as mine, who is 15 this year and in great condition. Oh, I hope so. Because she gets on my nerves. That's one thing that I never had a cat that is like she's like I have to educate her, because my dad, since they are with him sometimes in his house, sometimes I spend a lot of time with him. So he gives them food. I know he gives them his food, so they get away with a lot when they are with him. So when they come here to spend time with me, I'm always like, shouting. I'm always like, no, don't do that. Don't this, don't this, and Kali looks at me like, what do you mean no? You know. Hmm. Haircuts are wild. Jerry also won 8 beer. And his mouth was orange. And think he would hang from the curtains. Tommy is just a hater, Pisces. Oh yeah, he's dramatic. Oh, my family's cat passed at um 18 years old. Wow, cats can get really old. Wow. I wish that would happen. They would have happened to Luna, because she actually for the first 5 years she was very healthy. It's just that I think that when that dog got her, that dog somehow messed up with her. When he bite her in the head, I think that there's something about that. Then she started to have allergies, and I think that it must have crashed a part in her brain or something. Because she wasn't the same after that. But she was a very healthy cat, very healthy, very healthy cat, and very chill. Just Luna wouldn't just be next to you when she wanted, but not that close. And just like she wouldn't like make a sound. No. But Kali is the opposite. Kali is loud, is wild, is like a menace. Kali is everything that she's not. Like it's like you have to get up with her and you have to follow her around, because she's wild. She's a wild child. He's grumpy. He kisses. He doesn't like having anyone near him. Wow, that's old, Chacha. That's a long life. My grandma cat passed at 17. And then I'm cats pass. 23. But that's exceptional. But I heard more and more cats are reaching 20 these days. Wow. But he's so educated. He doesn't mark his territory. Oh, that's important. He doesn't scratch. He doesn't bite. He doesn't destroy things. He's like an old man. Oh, but that's a perfect cat. That's a perfect cat. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I have to get ready for tomorrow. I have to get up early again. So yeah, probably going to take a bath and then I'm going to get my things ready. But thank you so much, guys, for being here with me, for joining. And when I'll see you on Sunday, if everything goes well, and the part of the installation of the floor, if it goes everything smooth, I will go live on Sunday. I will probably create the community post so you can guys leave your favorite Virgo idols so we can start on Sunday. So yeah, thank you for joining. Have a lovely week.